Hi, as promised, here's my finished layout that I've completed. I also, if you want more videos, I do have a YouTube channel for Project Life Deb's Way, which you can get a lot of extra videos and things. I also have a Facebook group now called Project Life Deb's Way group, very original but still, where you can actually download pictures of your layouts and things to show us what you're doing. Don't forget to subscribe and like my channel so I can continue doing these nice videos. Now with this layout, it was the Say Cheese 3 series by Simple Stories, and the papers are still available. This also has got a flat page which you can either do journaling or put more photographs in. I do have quite a few journaling spots and things to fill out with this layout, but as you know, I tend to just use the same photographs, but I will put my own pictures that I want on this layout when I'm finished. Till next time, thanks very much for watching. Bye bye. Hi, this is Deb from Project Life Deb's Way. I know some people have been doing some layouts for my videos. I'm just going to do a quick video on how I choose my papers, my bits and bobs, because that's just as important as actually doing your layering. You can actually check me out on YouTube, Project Life Deb's Way, but I also do have a new Project Life Deb's Ways group, which you can actually join up, and then you can actually put your layouts and show people what you're up to too. Now, this is the Say Cheese from Simple Stories. It's a very, very busy in reds, blacks and your mustards, so it is a good one to actually show you how I do my papers. Normally what I tend to have is at least 3 quite busy papers. So as you can tell, this one here is very, very busy. You've also got this one. You have a check, which you don't very often use. This one here has a, as you can tell, I've used this before, has quite a large spot and etc. And on the back of this, because it's predominantly, I'm going to use red, black, and etc. You just need a colour to sort of just add a little pop, which is normally about 1/5 is the normal rule that you would use in furnishings or whatever to use a pop of colour. I'm going to use this yellow. For my matting, I decided to go with all of this, with these busy papers. I'm going to do some red, and I'm going to do my photo mats in black. I normally always put a sort of a very light coloured creamy or a white and cream patterned paper, but with this particular one it just didn't work, so I thought outside the box, and I actually decided to just use some old book sheets because they're quite a nice, and just use the actual writing. But a little hint, when you're looking at your books, read your script before you actually use it, because sometimes you can come unstuck with certain things that have been written into your books. Now with this also came a fantastic sticker sheet, so you can use that for some of your stickers. Now I didn't use any of the Disney World stickers and things because I haven't been to Disney World and I'm in Australia, but if you were in America or have been on holidays, you can actually use all of these up as well with your layouts. Now Simple Story are quite good because they have a lot of the 3x4, 4x4s. They have also 6x4s. They do quite a nice pad that you can actually buy with extra papers, and I'm pretty sure online you can get most of these. If not, there is a Say Cheese 4 which has just come out this year. So I've used a few of the 4x4 cards because I wanted to cut these bits of things out. So once I've chosen my papers, and I'll lay them out so you can actually see. You can actually see how well they quite go. And this one with the black spot I'll be using quite a bit, but it also has a great red spot plain as well. Now once I've decided on my basic papers, and as I reiterate, normally it is about 4 really coloured papers, something for a little bit of a pop. Then you choose what your backing cardstock, so depending on what photographs you've got or colour schemes, you would change that up, or whether you want white photomats, cream photomats or black photomats. Then you pick out some stickers and things. I'll be using some tickets. Now as far as ephemera goes, I'll just quickly bring this over. I've just gone through my stuff. I decided to use a red edging for the edgings. I've got a few wooden cameras. I've got some stars. I might use some film strips, which of course I've got a die that cuts these out. I'm very lucky. I found one of those beautiful cinema rolls, which you can still get the dies for. So I've cut a few of those out in different colours. I also had an old paper which came from Craft that had these wonderful reels in, so I bought quite a few sheets of that to put into my stash. I found some red rhinestones. I might use some cords, which goes, and I've also decided I'm going to do some round emphoria with the papers and put some words on with this. So I've got my handy old round punches, and I will be doing a few tags with this, but I will be making some tags like luggage tags, which if you're doing tags, your old luggage tags, these are quite costly to buy. So I tend to just go and buy your manila folders, which are this colour, and just make a template up and make your own tags. You can actually buy from a stationery shop these little round rings, or on the internet you can actually buy one of these punches, and it actually punches out your little tags. And there we have our punch. So you can actually punch your own punches out. As I said, you have a bit of a trouble sometimes getting them out, but they do eventually come. So you can do your own punches, and it does save you quite a bit of money. The punch is roughly about $7 or $8, so it is a worthwhile investment. So there we have all of our papers, emphoria and etc. I do have a system. Hi, now I've cut my 6x4s and my 3x4s for my side-by-side layout, and normally what I do is I cut these pieces of paper out, and then I actually sort of put my bits and bobs and decide what I'm going to do. I also have cut my photo mats out of my black, and I cut a full sheet of black cardstock into 3x4 cards for this. Now, as you can see, I have actually added a very, very pale cream because I found it was so busy that it just needed something. And these creams are going to have a small border around. And once again, I have my little cutting guide, and to get your tiny border, you just do 2 3/4 by 3 3/4 to get your borders around. And that will give you, by cutting 1/4 of an inch off 2 sides, you will just have an 1/8 of an inch border. And I've done a border for this one. I'm going to do a border for this one. I also have done a border for this one, and I will be doing a border on this one. It is just to make them stand out a little bit more. And as you can tell with my papers, when I've been cutting, I basically have 2 of everything. So I have 2 of these. I have basically a couple, 2. I definitely have 2 of these. I only have used 1 of these, but I will be using that pattern paper throughout the theme. And I have got some more of this coming in with small cutouts, just to give me a little bit of extra oomph. I decided to use some washi tape, which I have got a nice tape. I also found I need a little bit of extra, so I found some wooden arrows, which I'm going to paint black. And I have decided on using some red, and I also found these great little clip stars as well, which I might use a couple of those as well. So basically that was the only extras that I've added to this kit. So now what I'm going to do is I will start layering these cards up with the other papers and everything else I've got card by card, and take you through the process. Now this is our first card, but I am actually going to do a flat card because this is at the top of your plastic folder, so it should be able to just slide straight in. So what I have done here, I've got the nice black spotty card, which of course you just need to go around the edges in your red very, very quickly. Now I have done here a card that is four inches by 4 1/4. Now the reason why it is 4 1/4 is because your 3x4 mats need to fit into that on the inside. So then I have just folded this under at 3 3/4 to give me a flap, which will sit on the card like so. And don't forget, when you do flaps, to actually give yourself a little bit of the top to make sure that when you're folding, it's got room to fold with your photographs. So what you need to do there is just get some tape. When we have finished, we will tape it together. Just get some tape that will stick underneath when we're finished. Now I have got my print, which I have just edged, which came from the book pages. And I've just made sure I've got a small border all the way around this. Now this is the only couple of things I've actually used. I didn't use the sheet that had the 4 by 3s. I didn't touch any of those. There was only just the 3 4x4 cards. So what I'm going to do here is very quickly cut this out and around. Now you also need this lovely round piece. As well. We're going to throw that out. Now with this, once again, just give it a bit of an edge, because that way if you've left any of the red on there, it won't show. And around this one as well. Just like that. Now, this is going to sit on here. This will just go underneath. Now remember I said I was going to do some tags. Now I've got 2 white tags here, and I've also got some manila folder, and I was going to show you how I make my small tags. I have a little template, so I've decided to make my tag roughly about 1 inch. Now what I do is I cut a little piece of card. You don't need to do it this way. You can also draw it. You can, but for small tags, I find this easier. Just do that. Turn it over. Snip it off. And there is your tag. Just get a hole punch and just punch your hole. And as I said, remember I told you about the lovely little hole puncher. If not, you can buy them from the stationery shop in boxes. You can also tea dye these with a bit of, to make them look aged if you wish as well. With a bit of brown. Then all you have to do is you just put a tiny bit of glue, stick your tab round, and there we have our little. So if you didn't have any white of these, just do exactly the same as this with that. Now I can't decide whether to use, I think I might use this. So just pull it through like a little tab, cut off your ends, and do that for all your tags.
So we just tie those through.
Right. So there's our little tags. So what we are going to do is we will just get some of our tape, tape the back, tape the bottom of our tags, okay. So what we are going to do is we're going to stick this one down first in the middle. We are then going to stick our little movie roll. And if you pop that right down behind, if you hadn't have cut it out, it wouldn't have looked three-dimensional. Whereas if you cut that out and you can poke that just like so, but leave enough that we can just make sure they're all uneven. And there we have the flat card done. Now all you need to do now is put your 3x4 photo mats down here. Now from the sticker sheet, I just got a memory sticker, and remember, because when you go up, okay, we will this is why you don't stick this down, and then you can put your little memories up the top there. Then you can put your other 3x4 photo mat, which I seem to have lost. So don't stick this 3x4 down yet. Now I've cut myself a little strip of that pop of colour, so you need to work out where this goes. So we'll put that there and have a little border either side. So now we know that where that will go, we can actually stick stick that down. Now this is going to go here, so to trim this up I want just a little bit of a border all the way down. We won't ink this one, so we need to put this making sure that you have the stripes running, the arrows running the same way down as the other one that you will be using. So there we go there. I will just trim the excess off, and you can edge the bit here. So there we have that. You can now put your photo mat down for the one underneath. Now here I have decided on a nice star. Like so, 2 little stars. So I want one to be a red star. And this one here, I want to be a black. So to do that, we just ink up. You can also use textures to colour them in. There we go. And then that will just sit here like so, and that will finish your card up. So I won't, because the ink is still quite wet. I won't handle that too much until it's dry. Now, if you find for any reason, like this, the star is a little bit big, just take the sticky tape off of the back very gently before it becomes very tactile. And just move it across. So that way the actual star fits really nice and doesn't catch underneath. So there we have our first card, which is a really nice flat card. And because I moved that across, I virtually have to move my other card across so that it is all matching. And there we have our first card. Okay, here is our second card. So I have got a 6x4. The only difference with this one, I have got a 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 photo mat. So I have decided to do a red underneath. So that there is roughly a 4 1/2 by 3 1/2, which gives you a small border. So what I'm going to do here is edge my card. And for this one, I'm using some of my film strip camera, and I found a small off of the sticker sheet. So we now stick down our photo mat onto our red card. Then I want to put and this is going side by side of this card here. So I am going to put this card here. Now with this, I'm going to stick this down like so, so that you can actually get your photograph underneath the film strip. So I'm only going to put a piece of glue down in the bottom and just at the top, and stick that down. Now with my camera, it was just a piece of the wood and I've inked it. I won't add any dimensional tape or anything because the wooden is quite raised. So I'm going to stick that just above. I'm going to move it slightly across so that you've actually got a step going on. And then the happy sticker, just edge a little bit with the red and pop that and there we have our next card. So that one's quite a nice simple card to do. Now on to our next 6x4. So I'm using the Happy Laugh print, which is running landscape. Once again, this time I've used my 3x4 mat, and I have done a mat of 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 just to give me that border. So we are going to stick those down. Now, before we stick the red down, we'll put the black and that will be sitting just here. And as you can tell, this actually coordinates with the red on this one. I have used the 4x4, which you have got a cup. So I'm just going to quickly fussy cut around this. Now when you're fussy cutting, it is quite often easier to turn your paper than your scissors. You get quite a nice cut. So there we have our cup. I have also used the little tickets. If you don't have these little tickets, any other tickets can be fine. Now the other 4x4, which I'll be using on one of my 4x3 cards, had this lovely saying, magical memories, underneath. So I've just cut it off of the bottom, and I am going to trim that up. And there we have that one. So we are going to move this over, put our cup on and attach. like so, by slanting the cup upwards so that you still get quite a nice straight line. So when you attach your cup, make sure that you leave enough that you can get your photograph underneath. So we are going to attach the cup. And try move it across as much as you can and get a straight line up where your photograph would be, like so, and just attach. As I said, you can still get your photograph underneath. Now with these, I've actually put them on foam tape. And don't do what I have done. Make sure that you edge because it does get rid of any of those little white bits that you might have missed. So we'll re-stick down. So we'll put our photo mats down and bring it across so that you just have the same amount of borders running through. It just makes it look more even. Pop your cup from the bottom so that you've still got your nice straight line. And then we're going to off center our love. Then we can, I think, just pop this up a bit so that when you put your photograph in, just get a photograph to show you. So when you put your photograph in, it sort of hangs over your photograph like so. So we are only going to attach that on the first half. You can, if you wish, put a bit of extra tape on this magical memories. Like so, so that when you've actually finished and you put your photograph in, you could actually then peel it off and stick it down. Now I have stuck that. See if I can. It just shows that we do make mistakes. There we go. So our photograph goes there. lift that up. There we go. So that will all be stuck down once you've got your photograph in. So that is a sneaky way that if you haven't got your photograph prepared and you know that this is just an under 3x4. So there is our next card. I'll put this one back and we will do this one when we do our 3x4s. Here comes our next card for the bottom. I have got a 3x4, which I've just done the red border. I have done that is a 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, which is going to go in this corner so that you've got a tiny little border here. Now we need to edge, which you can actually sort of blend in so you have a bit more red on it. And book papers are really nice for taking edging. Okay, so we can lay that down. Now, my 3x4, I have trimmed off just a little bit either side so that this can go on this side, like so. And then I have trimmed down a photo mat to actually just have a little border. And the reason why I have left it here, because if you put this on this side you have too much going on here. So if you put it here, it stops it from being so busy. You can also, this one could go over here and then this one can come over here. It works whichever way you go. So this actually goes in. Oh, and while I'm at it, I have forgotten to edge this card like so. Same goes for this one. You need to do some edging on that. So we are going to stick our little card here. Which was a 3x4 with just a little bit trimmed off. I would say that would be 1/8 of an inch trimmed off so that it just fits onto your card like so. Now we need this sheet here to fit alongside that card. I'll just move that and then we can Now, just shows you can make mistakes. So I need, now this card is 5 inches by 3. And once again, edge. Now this particular card we are going to bring over. So once again, you just have your 1/8 of an inch border and hang it over the cord. Then we will put our, make sure there's no tape, our photo mat, just leaving once again the same amount of border over the top. We can then put our photo mat down. Like so. And on this one, I have one of those nice reels, and so I don't waste, I'm going to cut that in half. Because why put the whole lot underneath when you don't see it? Okay, now we are going to stick the little reel underneath like so. I have got the really nice arrow, which I'm going to do in black. Now this is another way that you can do wooden things. If you've got a texter, sometimes it's just as easy to use not only that, you don't get ink all over your fingers. So, and there we have a really nice black arrow. So we'll just stick him down. Now I'm going to put a little tag here so that you make a journaling spot. So we just get some of our cord, which I'm taking the gold thread out. As I said, if you don't have these, you just can make up some white ones out of cardstock. Thread that through. And there we have I also think that it would be rather nice to just have a word at the bottom here. am going to use that because when you have a look, unless you poke that hole out, it doesn't look right. So I am going to use the one that came with it. So I'm going to stick this underneath, and it needs to be sitting flat. And there we have our card. Now, when putting my cards together, I have actually noticed that I have a lot of these tickets all on one side of the page, and I have moved the spotty here because if you put it here, the spot's here. So I've decided to take this off. Oh, which isn't going to be easy. Oh, easy. Okay, you see I've ripped a nice big hole moving that. I've moved my tape up. I have actually put my little word that I found that matches this one onto some red to actually cover that little mistake up. So I am going to put that on some dimensional tape. Just shows that you can fix up mistakes. And as you can tell, that does look much better than having the ticket of laugh stuck there. So there we have that done. Okay, now with the red spot, I am going to put another black photo mat down, and it will be 3 1/4 2 1/4 by 3 3/4, and I want that just to have a little bit of a border. So I'm going to take a smidgen just a very tiny bit off until I get it to the right area. I do want about that much spot showing, so I need 1/8 of an inch off one side, and there we have what I'm looking for, just a little border that you can actually see your dots running around. Now with this particular one, I wanted to put a camera on here. With a star. Now, to help with this, I'm going to glue my mat down. Now the camera, I'm only going to stick so. So you have a nice mat. I want my camera just to attach somewhere. I won't put it down here because we've got the cameras here. So I will attach it up into one of the corners there. Now I'm going to put a tiny little bit of tape on there and a bigger tape, but I will only use this little bit on the side because you want to be able to get your photograph underneath, because if you don't, and then you can actually stick your camera on top of your photograph. And there we have that. As I said, you can still juggle. That actually looks better because that way you have got your photographs running. And then you also have your photographs here. Now this one here, I have decided to do I'm not really happy with that camera being like it is. So I am going to pop a white belly band at the top, and I'm going to fold them under like so. I'm going to put, and then what you do there is just attach underneath the folds, and that is so you actually can slide your photograph under and you just get the top. I am going to use and there we have that. Okay, now with this one I have decided to do a tag. I've found a happy, a stamp, I've got a star, and I thought what I would do there is I make my tag like I did last time. And then I will cut off, of course I would have had to have lost. going to put my little template on, cut it away, do my hole. I am going to put some brown oxide ink on. There we go. Okay, we'll just let that dry off. Unfortunately, oxides do take a little while to dry. There we are. So, I am going to make my ticket slightly longer this time. We have to put our cord on. So we need to stick our hole, put our cord through, so there we have our cord. Now I've decided to use some red washi tape, and of course the end is hiding. I need some extra cord because I've decided I'm going to do the old cord around the tag trick. Cut the ends off. We are going to make the happy in a nice bright red. Just let that dry off. We are going to put and I'm going to do a black star So now I can actually stick all this down. So I'll just take that out. Now we'll put our happy on first. If you haven't got a chipboard, you could use some of your sticker packs with your alphabets. Need to just trim there we go. Now it's taken a bit of shuffling, but here is your first layout, and it has the nice flat card, so you can actually fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 photographs on that. You do have journaling spots that you can actually do. If you wanted more journaling spots, you could, if you wished, put something here. You could also not have a picture but actually do a nice journaling spot in here as well. But this one would be a good one to put your title of your page on, this particular here. So there is our first side done. Now we go on to our next side. So we are now starting on the next side of our cards, and as you can tell, I'm using the script, but it's as portrait. So we're just going to edge. Now what I want is basically this will be here. I'm going to put some white card, then I'm going to do this card, and then this card. So it's going to be quite a layered card. So this red, I will take off. It is roughly a 5 by 4, so I'm going to take off 1/2 inch down one side, so it will be 3.5 by 4.5. Okay, so this one here, I have just done a 4.5 by a 3.5, which gives you a 1/4 inch border. So we're going to pop that one down. so. Now what I've got here is a 3x4 . Correct. Now the 3x4, I'm going to put the cog die cut that I have in the middle, like so. I am now going to construct this particular card I'll be using. So that is a 3x4, and then I have taken off 1/4 inch on 2 sides, which will give me this card here. And don't forget to edge this one in some red. So we will stick this card down. We also have our little bit of paper, which once again I have taken off 1/4 inch on 2 sides to give me an 1/8 inch border. There basically is my layering for this card. Now what I want to do with this is get an amount of the white string, and how I'm going to do this is I am going to have the tie here, so wrap it around the card, giving yourself a bit of a tag. Then loop it under and tie. Then what I want to do is just spread your string out either side to give you like a fan effect, making sure that you haven't pulled it too tight. Cut your ends like so, and that will give you this effect. Now I'm going to not raise this up too much because I've got other things. If I had flat things on it, I would actually raise that with tape, but because I'm not, I'm actually going to stick that down. Now remember, I cut some circles with my punch, and that's a 1.5 inch circle. I want this down here. I'm going to put a red star on there, so I'm going to paint that red. Now this will be going up into the top hand corner of my page. So because my page is facing this way, I want my arrow to face that way, because the rule of thumb is if I put my arrow this way, your eye will hit the arrow and go off the page. So normally with any art, you always face inwards, be it a photograph looking, anything, is you always put your arrows facing into where the action is. So that is going here, like so. Because that card is not too thick, I think I might actually put some mounting tape on this card. I think it will sit better. Right, we'll put the mounting tape on. Yes, that does look much better with the mounting tape. Now we're going to put our little circle here. And we're just off center it. Paint our star with the red. And put that up here, like so, with a bit of glue. And I would off center it like so. Now this here I want in black, so once again I'm going to cheat a bit. Here we have our black arrow, and I would off center that as well. I did find some words from the sticker sheet that I liked. I'll just get rid of the There we go, just put that there, and we will stick this down. And there we have our eye candy card for the top of our page. This is our next top card. I've got the black spot. I have got here, this is a 3.5 by 5.5, which will give you your 1/4 inch border all the way around. And I've got a 3x4 photo mat here. I've got one of the film scrolls. This came off the sticker sheet. I decided a pop of mustard to go with the other mustard colours and a bit of a film strip. So how we construct this card is, once again, you can put a bit of extra red on this paper. So you sort of just bleed it in a bit further than you would do normally. Okay, we're going to stick that down. An even border, 1/4 inch border all the way around. Just quickly go round your black cardstock, because because if you've got any little white bits, it just hides it. There we go. Now we're going to have a bit of a play here. I might put this in the middle because I would like Okay, I'm going to move this fractionally across so that I can fit my film cog in. So I'm going to stick that down. And that was the other half that I had left over that we cut in half. It just stretches your supplies that little bit more. Okay, we will stick this down and just do an 1/8 of an inch border down. We will take our sticker off. I won't stick it down permanently yet because I'm still having a bit of a play. We'll leave a bit of a little border there. I think that actually looks better on top of the film strip. And then we can put so we will attach our film strip down with a bit of glue. I'm going to put that on at a bit of an angle. We will then put our little sticker on. Now where you've got a sticker like this, you can, if you haven't put your photograph straight on, use some of the paper that the sticker came on, and you can actually just pop that underneath and it will stop it from sticking down, and you can still get your photograph in, and as soon as you put your photographs in, you can then take this piece of paper away and stick it down. Works a treat. This came off the sticker sheet, the little favourite photographs, and just work out where it fits. I'm going to centre that, just like that. And there we have, quite quickly, our next top card that sits up the top. Now this is our bottom card that we're doing, and once again you just need to edge your 6x4, which I've done the spots. Give it a quick just edging. Okay, we are going to have our film cog, which I've done in red. We are going to put on the bottom. So first things first, I have got a 3x4 here, and I've just cut my photo mat, which is a 3x4, and I've just taken off an 1/8 of an inch on two sides, which just gives you that tiny little bit of border. They can still use a 3x4 photograph, but it just needs to be trimmed down just slightly. We pop that on. We can now just pop that in like so into the middle, like so. We need this cog to actually come up to the photograph. So once again, you're only going to be using half. So what I would do is I would store the rest of this half in my stash under film. So then we can just cut the bottom off. So you do have a full half cog that you can use for something else. So that just goes down the bottom. I want this lovely little circle, which is just out of, so I want quite a bit of an edge on this, so I'm just sort of bleeding it a bit further in. Here we go. Sorry. Here we go. You can still get your photograph in there. Now this came off of the sticker sheet, and I really do quite like this. So I'm just going to attach this like so. I might just put a tiny bit of glue underneath to make sure that that clip stays put. And there we have our bottom card finished. This is our last 6x4 card, and it's quite an easy one. So all we have to do here, I've got a 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 photo mat, which we are going to stick down. Now, because I used tags on the other side of the layout, I have to introduce some tags onto this page. So I'm going to put this up the top with just a small border all the way round. I will edge this page very quickly with some red ink, like so. I've got one small white tag. I also am going to make just measure it up or eyeball it. We need to put our hole in there. Just going to tone that down so it looks a bit rustic. and glue my ring. I've got a little bit of thread left over from some of the cord. Because I used some of the red tape on the other side, on the other tag that we did the rope tie round, I'm going to do that. I have a bit of the so I'm just going to cut off now. When I ever cut these, I always leave a little end on either side because then you can actually still use that film strip. Just lay now. I'm going to slant this a different way because we've already got some film strip on this page. I want a nice tag this way, so I'm just going to put a bit of tape on the bottom of this tag. Slant it upwards. This tag here just needs some more cord. I'm going to tie it off. Snip the ends. Okay. So once again, I'm just going to do at the bottom of the tag, put a little bit of tape at the bottom, and I'm going to bring it right down as low as I possibly can, so that when you do put your photograph here, you're not intruding too much into your photograph. So I want a black star, and I would love a red happy. So we're just going to ink the happy. And if ever I can buy the little Emphoria packs of the wooden words and that, Kaisercraft do quite a few. I always buy them because they are quite good. Leave that there for a journaling spot. Now my star, I would like black so that it pops off the page. So once again, I'm just going to quickly do that with my texter. Once again, these came in, you can buy packs of wooden stars and things on the internet. They're always nice to buy a few of and just put them into your stash because you'll always use them. And then we'll just off center that like so. And there we have our next card finished. And they will sit on your page like so. Now we'll start our 3x4 cards, and once again I've got 2 photo mats, which are very easy. I've got the nice black spot. I decided to do a red background, which was 1/4 of an inch off either side, so that will give you an 1/8 of an inch border. And sometimes it is very hard to get these on absolutely straight. And I'll put my photo mat down, which once again is a 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, which will give you 1/4 of an inch. So you just have a bit of a red border around. The same goes for this one, but the only difference with this one is I was running short on card. So I've made the border a bit bigger, but I would actually make the border the same as this one. Yeah. So we have 2 photo mats. Now these 2 cards are quite easy to do. So I'll start off with this one. I decided I was going to use a full one of this. I found this on the castle that was on the sticker sheet, which I really like. I've coloured in my wood camera in black. I have my cream 3x4. This card here needs to have just a tiny border all round, so I'm going to cut off 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 to give me that nice border all around. And don't forget to just quickly edge your card, stick it down in the middle. Now, depending on where your spots are, I've left mine up the top so they won't be too covered. What I did here was a bit of red, which I've just stuck down onto some red. I have then cut away, so I've just got a really tiny border of red around, and that is going to go, I'll just place it down first. I tend, when I'm juggling my cards, to actually not stick things down, because I actually pre-prep my cards before I do these videos for the speed of things. So I'll put that there. I'll put this towards one side, and then I might put my camera so I'm going to lower that. And once you get everything looking as you want it, then just dismantle and then start sticking down. Because otherwise, if you stick everything down, you'll end up ripping stuff off. So we just put that across like so. You put your next level down, which I decided is there. Now, the reason why I've put the camera here, because if you put it down here, it actually gets lost in the colour, whereas there, it actually pops. Sometimes these cards come together very easily, and sometimes they take some real juggling to actually get them to the point where they are pleasing to the eye. Stick him in the middle, and as you can see, that lines up with a line here as well, which is quite nice. And we'll just peel our sticker off. Now I'm going to cut around the sticker. If you'd gone to the Disneyland, you could have actually used that castle on one of these cards instead of doing what I did. And as you can tell, that actually fits quite nicely. So now all we need to do now is just quickly trim off the excess. And there we have a very quick and easy card. This card here, I have actually done another tag, but I measured it up so that there was just a tiny little bit of a border in between. Now this one again, I have cut down 1/4 of an inch off either side so that it gives me an 1/8 of an inch border. What I'm going to do here, now the one time I'm not going to ink around this because I just want the pop of colour. So I'm going to stick that straight down, making sure that my arrows are following the same way as this card here, because if you put them up that way, it will look completely wrong. So make sure when you do arrows and things that they all point the same way. So there we have our little card there. I am going to put across this. Because I've got some of this tape on the other side, I have to introduce it into this side of the layout. And because I have got my stripe running down the bottom, I am going to put my stripe at the top. So get your cameras sort of centered if possible. We can just, love washi tapes because you can just pop them under. Then all you have to do is once again just sort of line things up. So I am going to stick the tag here. I am going to put the circle over here with the live. Now this live, I'm going to off center this because I've not got anything in sort of centered in circles. I want that to be red. Once again, these were just odd wooden pieces that came with a wooden Emphoria travel set from Kaisercraft. So I've just put this into my book with all my words and things. So when I go in, I have got a good selection. Now I also found a fantastic best day ever. So on my tag, I am going to put those words. So to do that, I just trim them up. And unfortunately, sometimes when they've got sticky backing, it's a bit hard to get off. So just use your Stanley knife or whatever. Now, because all my other ones have got tape around, I am going to put that, but because I'm putting words on, I'm going to put this one in the middle and straight, like so. Okay, put my tag down. Unfortunately, I've got red, but I will change this up. Okay, so then we need best. Now with this one, because it's on the red, I'm going to stick on a bit of black, to make it pop. Because I've got all of that mess, I'm going to tuck my spot a bit further over and put my live in the middle, which covers up all my finger marks. And there we have our cards. So then we can just do a quick sort out. Now the reason why I'm doing this is because you can actually see that they've got film strips, so you want them sort of opposite. And we don't want the two tags so just have a bit of a shifty round and have a look to see, because you see if you put this here, you can actually see you've got two tags side by side. So by bringing that down here, you are actually changing things up. So I'm quite happy with the way that that looks. So there we have our other side of our layout. I'll put my photographs on there and I'll give you a look at it once the photographs are in.